Dragons in anime go together like peanut butter and jelly, pepperoni on pizza, or chocolate and peanut butter. The point being, if an anime or an anime episode has dragons or dragon based attacks, it's going to be pretty sick. I guarantee it. Yes, from One Piece to Naruto to Dragon Ball Z to Zatchbell, Digimon, and Pokemon, dragonic based attacks and dragons in general are always so freaking cool. I have written down 10 of the coolest, in my opinion, dragonic or dragon based attacks in anime that I've seen. No particular order except for the top three, which I honestly think the top three are some of the coolest dragon based attacks in anime. Like, and two of them are from ones that I saw as a kid that just left an imprint on me. So, let's get to it. I hope you guys enjoy. Our first attack on this list comes from the Demon Slayer universe, specifically used by the Flame Hashira himself, Rengoku. And the attack is aptly named Rengoku. Rengoku is the most powerful and the final attack of the Flame Hashira, Kyojuro Rengoku. The attack works by Rengoku raising his sword high above his head to slash down on the opponent. He then dashes forward, moving so quickly, the flames wrap around him, causing a serpentine-like dragon that is able to carve a crater through the ground and breathes blue electricity. When he's finally able to attack Akaza, he strikes with such speed and power that he is able to slash and carve all the way through Akaza's torso, nearly bisecting him. However, due to Akaza's healing factor and everything, he was able to walk away from that unscathed. Now, Rengoku is an esoteric art, which means it's passed down through the Rengoku line. So he was the only one that knew the ninth form Rengoku. Also, forget all that noise that the author said about not being able to see the elements when the sword slash happens, except for the wind. Yeah, no, shut up with that, okay? Our next attack comes from one of the holy knights in the Digimon digital world, Dynasmon, and his attack, Breath of Wyvern. For those of you that aren't familiar with Dynasmon, he is a holy knight in the Digimon world, and he is a mega level wind type data Digimon. He's got a few attacks. I think one of them is called Dragon's Roar, where he, like, on the palms of his hand, he shoots out like two smaller dragons that like twist into a tornado. It's really freaking cool. But the one I'm talking about today is called Breath of Wyvern, and that's where he transforms all of his physical energy into a gigantic ethereal wyvern that he then launches at you, and he's so powerful it's able to warp space and time. Is that not insane? I always forget how absolutely broken and cracked Digimon actually are. Up next on our list, continuing with the theme of teenagers that force small, cute, adorable animals to then fight each other, we have Pokemon. And what Pokemon move are we going with here? We're going with Dragon Dive. For those that don't know, Dragon Dive is essentially just a tackle, but the creature has covered itself in dragonic energy. And I think the coolest showing that I had seen of this was in Pokemon, maybe it was Black and White, whatever the one where Ash meets Iris for the first time, and then Iris gets her Dragonite, and when she tells Dragonite to use Dragon Dive, when it does, it does like a Super Saiyan flex, like where its energy comes out, and then it covers itself in that dragonic energy that forms into a dragon, and then it just careens down at it. Like, so it's a dragon covering itself in like dragon armor that's shaped like an actual gigantic dragon. It's a very basic move, but it is so cool to look at. Oh, and it like will possibly make you flinch, like whatever. Still though, it is sick looking. And the weird part though, not you don't have to be a dragon to use it because Lugia uses it, Yveltal uses it, Rhyperior uses it, as well as like the Rhyhorn line, and Laron and Aggron, like all of them use it. Like they're not dragons. That makes no sense. Our next attack up actually comes from a One Piece movie, if you can believe it or not. Spoiler alert: One Piece, top three anime for me, and it's not two or three. And the attack comes from their sniper Usopp, and the attack name is Sky Dragon Star. What a sick name! That is so freaking cool. This is one thing from the One Piece movies that I wish they would make canon, because Sky Dragon Star one looks so sick. It's a like a crystal blue dragon that's made of electricity that Usopp launches at Shiki in the movie Strong World. Now, Shiki does deflect it, obviously, because he's way stronger than Usopp. However, because it's made of lightning and he shot it into the sky, it is then the catalyst for the lightning storm that happens. The lightning storm that Luffy then uses to turn his Gum Gum giant axe into Gum Gum giant Thor axe, which he then uses to defeat Shiki. So when you think about it, Shiki was basically taken down by the team of Luffy and Usopp. Just saying. The next entry up on this list is probably one of the coolest dragons in anime that like I remember seeing that was an attack. And that is the water dragon jutsu from Naruto. Now, what makes the water dragon jutsu so freaking cool, other than it being, you know, a gigantic pillar of water shaped like a dragon that you then can sick to attack someone, the first person that we see use it is Zabuza Momochi, who is arguably the coolest villain in One Piece. Dude fights with a sword that would make Guts blush, man. It's awesome. Anyway, the water dragon jutsu is really interesting because for lower level ninjas, they would need to do it primarily next to a source of water. So, like an ocean, a pond, a lake, even ones that are like better could probably use like a smaller puddle. But the really good ones, the really good ninjas are able to create the water themselves from their mouth using their chakra to then turn it into water, so then they can use the water dragon jutsu. It's really cool. The dragon is always always like a Chinese dragon with a serpentine like body, and it is really cool. It's really devastating. It's one of the first attacks that I remember from Naruto where I was like, that was really cool. That was really cool. The next attack comes from arguably one of the worst fathers in anime, Kakarot. And his attack, Dragon Fist. Now, as the name is appropriately named, Dragon Fist is an attack where Goku goes Super Saiyan 3 and he rears his fist back like he's about to punch someone, and then he dashes forward. As he's dashing forward, he gathers energy in his fist, and then when he's close enough, he goes to punch like he's punching someone again, and instead of making connection, a gigantic dragon is launched from his fist that looks like Shenron, and it just burrows through the chest of the monster that he is facing and then wraps around him, causing a massive ki explosion. We have only seen this, I believe, one time, and it was in the Dragon Ball Z movie, Dragon Ball Z Wrath of the Monsters. And like the dragon, because it's made of his Super Saiyan 3 energy, it's golden. Like I said, it looks like Shenron. It The first time I ever did it in 10 and Budokai 3, just I remember being like, did he just launch a dragon from his fist? What? Oh man. Old Dragon Ball Z was so much better than Super. I'm like, so much better. The next attack on this list comes from Kaido's second in command, King. His attack, Imperial Flaming Wing. And what Imperial Flaming Wing does is, from the tip of his sword, King, who is able to control flames through his Lunarian powers, gathers the energy into the tip of his sword and then launches a gigantic Kaido-like dragon at his opponents. And thanks to Zoro, we know that the flames are so hot that they feel like magma. And thanks to Toei, we're actually able to see how hot those flames are when King launches another Imperial Flaming Wing that breaks off into like 8 dragon heads. There's a scene where one of the dragon's heads is careening towards a gigantic rock, and it hits the rock, and then not a second later shoots out the back of it. Like it's Senor Pink swimming through Dressrosa. This thing was so hot. It melted solid rock in an instant. Like, and that's just a casual attack that he's doing. Dude, like, Wano is crazy. One Piece characters are crazy. Dragons in anime are just fantastic. All right, it makes anime so much better, and I'm really glad that I got into anime when I did and stuck with it. And finally, we are now starting to get into the top 3 dragon and dragonic based attacks in anime. Third place, we have Daigen Hyorimaru, or just Hyorimaru in general. It's honestly really cool. Hyorimaru is the Zanpakuto spirit used by 10th Division Captain Toshiro Hitsugaya. And basically, Hyorimaru is a massive, like, serpentine ice dragon. And when it's released in its Shikai form, it's a regular Zanpakuto with like a 4-pointed star guard, and then a crescent blade connected to a chain at the end of his hilt. And then when he swings his sword, he's able to launch out massive ice dragon flows. And then when he goes into his Bankai, Daigen Hyorimaru, he dons like literal dragon armor with claws, wings, feet, tail, and his attacks are far more destructive. And even cooler, when Toshiro gets hollified, the dragon changes into I believe it was like an Eastern European dragon, like one of the dragons that you'd see in Game of Thrones more. Where it had like a huge body, gigantic wings, still like a long neck. There were spikes going down its neck. It had an armor plated belly, because in European dragons, like, that's where like the weak spot is. There's like a point where you have to hit them. Like, this dragon was like way more massive. So I thought it was really cool that not only did Toshiro's like outfit changed, like when he went into the Bankai and whatnot, but the dragon also changed too. And because the Quincy's are essentially, Quincy's are just German, the dragon then becomes a Germanic like, oh my god, dude. It's like little attention to details and things like that that just, oh dude, they make me so happy that anime is a thing. Like, mythology and anime, dude, that's right there. I love all of that shit. Getting to our number 2 attack on this list. This is a good one too. We have Bauzakerga from Zatchbell. And if you guys don't remember Zatchbell, you're either not watching enough Danny Mata or you just didn't have a good childhood, because Zatchbell was just such a feel good anime, but there was so much action and fighting in it too. Like, it really scratched every itch that you could possibly have. Now, getting on to the awesome attack, Bauzakerga is the fourth spell that Zatch ends up learning with Kiyu. And for I didn't get to see the whole series. Like, I remember at some point I stopped seeing it on Adult Swim and Toonami, and I didn't know where to find it anymore. But when I looked it up for the entirety of the season, Bauzakerga was like was the finishing and their most powerful attack. And when you see the picture of it, you'll understand why. So when he fires off Bauzakerga, all the attacks fire from Zatch's mouth. Like, his eyes go white and his mouth opens up and just like lightning energy shoots out, and it takes the form of a massive Chinese dragon with like saber-tooth cat like fangs and whatnot, and it's just radiating with lightning energy. Like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. And I'll put the spoilers too, all right, because I didn't know this either, so I kind of got a little spoiled. The crest on it, that's like on its forehead, is apparently Zatch's family crest. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Anyway, let me stop gawking over this attack, dude. Like, the dragon is massive, and it is his most powerful attack for majority of the series, and usually is enough to take out all the opponents, unless there's like one attack, unless like the opponent's ultimate attack is stronger. And another thing that I didn't know either, spoiler alert as well, what makes this attack so cool and what forced me to put it at number 2, because I may have put this behind Hyorimaru, this is the only spell of Zatch's that can evolve. Yeah, I didn't know freaking spells can evolve like that, dude. That's like, I knew they get stronger, obviously, but like, this goes from like a dragon to like an even bigger dragon to like an angelic dragon anthropomorphic god. And they're doing a sequel of Zatchbell, I just found out earlier today, so yeah. Yeah, we're eating good. Some of the honorable mentions before we get to the number 1 coolest dragon-based attack. Some of them are like Natsu's attacks, Flame Dragon Breath. I know it's not shaped like a dragon, but I mean, he was raised by the Fire Dragon King, so honestly, it works. And the name the name gives it away. He just is firing, a blast of fire from his breath. You also have Flame Dragon or Fire Dragon King mode. That is essentially where, like, I'm trying to remember, but to me, I don't remember if it was explained, but to me, what it was, he's got like a marking from Igneel, and when he goes out to when he uses this fire, when he uses the Fire Dragon King mode, his it's like his attacks are just amplified to a 15. You know, it's like an actual dragon is firing off. Like there's he goes into Fire Dragon King mode against against the Spriggan 12, and there's a scene where the army is marching towards him and it's just him, and he launches off of a flame dragon King breath, just wipes out the entire army. Oh my gosh, dude. It was sick. It was sick. But let me tell you, if there wasn't like Fairy Tail could have been a far better anime if there wasn't just tons and 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 tons of fan service. Like the bikini the bikini contest. We didn't need that. We didn't need that at all. This next attack comes from another classic anime, Beyblade. And it's coming from one of the coolest bit beasts in Beyblade history, Dragoon. Now, for those that weren't cool enough to watch Beyblade back in the day, Dragoon is one of the four sacred bit beasts in that universe, and it is the wind spirit. And its body, like you can see, like resembles a creature that would be associated with wind because its hands have massive claws on the front. It's got a long, slender serpentine body, a long, slender spiked tail, spikes on its back. It's kind of like anthropomorphic shaped, but it represents, in like our mythology, I believe it represents like the Eastern Azure dragon, from its color and just its control over the wind and everything. It is the main partner of Tyson, and this this is one of the coolest bit beasts like ever, honestly, in my opinion. And just its attack, like it's able to make tornadoes because it spins so quickly and everything, and like what do you mean? It's a guardian deity for Tyson and his family. Like it's dude, Beyblade, the anime in the 90s and early 2000s were so freaking cool. Like oh man, everything about it was really just was really just awesome. Um but speaking of Azure Dragons, let's continue on to our next attacker, honorable mention, and that is King of the Beasts, Kaido. Yes, the King of the Beasts, always bet on him, Kaido. And let me tell you, dude, he has a lot of really cool attacks. One, because he is an Azure Dragon, okay? He's able to transform into a hybrid version or a full-blown dragon. Some of the attacks are just like, you know, like they're kind of basic. Like his Boro Breath is just him shooting his Flame Breath, but it's strong enough to just casually take out a mountain, like eviscerate it. And like when he shot through it, you could see where everything was like still hot and molten. His most powerful attack though is called Flame Dragon Torch, where he breathes out his fire and then manipulates that into dragon armor that is like probably 10-15 times bigger than him. Like he wears it as armor and it's as big, it's actually probably like 100 times bigger because it's the size of Onigashima. And if you haven't seen One Piece, or if you have seen One Piece and you're at Onigashima, you understand the sheer size of how big Kaido's his flame dragon torch is. But I think my favorite Kaido attack is his Dragon Twister or Demolition Gust or Dragon Twister Demolition Gust, because all of them are wind attacks, and the Demolition Gust or Demolition Breath is just where he fires out air sickle blades that slice through anything. And the reason it's one of my favorite is it gave us one of the sickest Zoro aura farming moments, where the attack is coming right at him and everyone's dodging, and Zoro's just looking down and just goes whoosh, and knocks it away. All right, dude, chill on the aura farming, man. All right, good lord. But he does Dragon Twister, where he spins his body in a tornado, and because he's moving so fast and he's so big, he creates gigantic tornadoes. The moves don't look like a dragon, aren't shaped like it, like all the other ones, but the fact that the attacks are coming from legitimate dragons, he at least had to get an honorable mention. Finally, the last entry on our list, and the number one coolest dragon attack, in my opinion, is, drumroll please, the Dragon of the Darkness Flame. The Dragon of the Darkness Flame is honestly, it's in this part isn't even my opinion. The Dragon of the Darkness Flame is the coolest dragon-based attack, because one, we get to see it when it's a little weaker, when Hiei first uses it in the first round of the tournament, and it's just the whole beginning and the whole process is sick. He's got to channel the Darkness Flame, his Jagan Eye activates, everything gets real tense, and then out of nowhere, black light starts shooting up from the water, from the depths of the spirit world. And then when he fires it, it looks like it's black flames, and it's just a very contained dragon almost. It is terrifying because it's, dark flames coming at you, and then when it attacks the guy, it leaves a literal silhouette of him where he's just singed onto the wall. And then as he gets stronger, the dragon gets even cooler. It turns into a gigantic Eastern European dragon, but it looks like something that you'd see Jack Skellington ride. And then to make things even freaking cooler, when Hiei is fighting Bui, and Bui is somehow able to send the dragon back at Hiei, because when he first uses it, Hiei says, he says something like, you're not able to entirely control the beast, which is insane. You're launching an attack, you'd think you have control over the attack. No, you're just pointing it in a general direction. It's not like the water dragon jutsu. Hiei is summoning a creature and then using that creature to attack. So when Bui sends it back to him, that's the first time that's ever happened. So Hiei gets taken out, or so we think, because not a few seconds later, they start doing that crackling electricity noise from Yu Yu Hakusho, which, let's be honest, that is crack in my, it's the crackling, oh my god, it's so cool. He just appears back out of nowhere and just casually drops that he has absorbed the dragon. He has become the dragon. He's able to do that. He's able to launch the dragon up and then absorb the darkness flames into his body for a short period of time, drastically increasing his physical output and just any attack that he has. I can't even it's an attack of epic proportions. I don't know how else to explain it. It is just one of the coolest looking attacks. The fact that it looks like a gargantuan dragon that he's controlling is just so freaking cool. And it literally does that. It literally disintegrates people on contact with how hot the fire is. Of course, Hiei gets it. One of the coolest characters in that show too. But this is actually the attack that I thought of that made me think of this video, because I was like, ooh, that's a sick looking dragon attack. And I was like, wait a minute. So what are the other dragon based attacks, or like attacks that look like dragons? You know what? I want to see that real quick. I want to see that because I think that would be really freaking cool. And I was correct. Just saying.